The Autumn of Smiles. Part 1. The Crack in the World. Oakwood in Autumn was a postcard, a cliché of gentle Americana so perfect it felt curated, as if some divine hand had shaken the snow globe of the Midwest and settled everything into a scene of impossible tranquility. Maple trees lining the wide, clean streets blazed crimson and gold, forming a fiery canopy that rustled like shifting taffeta. The air carried the clean, nostalgic scent of wood smoke from first fires of the season, mingling with the rich, earthy perfume of decaying leaves neatly piled at the curbs. It was a town of fenced lawns and polished minivans, of PTA bake sales and Friday night booster club dinners, cradled in a quiet, unshakable belief in its own safety, as deep and unquestioned as the aquifer beneath its foundations. The most exciting annual event was the Fall Festival, a week-long spectacle of hayrides, pumpkin carving, and a modest carnival where the only screams were delighted shrieks from the tilt-a-whirl, swallowed by the crisp evening air. Oakwood High School was the steady, brick-and-mortar heart of it all, a sprawling, two-story building of echoing linoleum hallways lit by the relentless buzz of fluorescent lights. Here, the biggest dramas were homecoming court nominations whispered in locker bays, the collective groan over chemistry exam scores posted on Mr. Henderson's door, and the simmering, generations-old feud between the marching band and the cheer squad over practice field priority. The social ecosystem was a finely tuned instrument. Every note was predictable. I was a junior, Cameron Ellis, existing in the comfortable, well-populated middle strata, not popular, not an outcast. I was a background character in most stories, an observer. My world was a map drawn with familiar, worn coordinates, the squeak of my sneakers on the gym floor during PE, the dusty smell of the library's history section where I hid during free periods, the crackling static of Principal Henderson's morning announcements that had become a comforting part of the routine. My anchor points were two. First, Chloe Ramirez, my best friend since a fifth-grade project on the solar system. Chloe curated her life like a director overseeing a perpetual Gothic film festival, all dark poetry and moleskins, an unwavering uniform of black jeans and band t-shirts, The Cure, Susie and the Banshees, and a worldview filtered through ironic noir. She found symbolism everywhere, from frost patterns on windows to the lunch lady's mashed potatoes. Then there was Jake Miller, the gentle giant from advanced biology, whose precise hands guiding a scalpel over a dissected frog transformed every Friday night into a controlled frenzy, both on the lab table and later on the football field. Jake had a calmness that was the perfect counterpoint to Chloe's delicious melancholy. And then there was Mrs. Alvarez. In her history class, the Treaty of Versailles wasn't just text, it was a living, breathing tragedy. She could make the economic ramifications of reparations feel immediate and personal, her dark eyes flashing with a passion for the past that was contagious. Room 214 was a sanctuary, a place where chaos was confined to the pages of textbooks. We swam in the gentle, predictable current of Oakwood time, where the future was a straight, tree-lined road leading to state college, manageable debt, and lives that mirrored our parents. That October, the air turned sharper, the light more golden, and a strange, distant stain began to appear at the edge of our world. It didn't arrive on the wind or in the mail. It seeped through fiber-optic cables and cellular signals connecting our insulated town to the restless pulse of the outside world. It began as a flicker on our phones, grainy, shaky videos filmed on dark roads or suburban backyards, always at dusk or in the dead of night. Figures in garish, store-bought clown costumes, polka-dotted, rainbow-frizzed, lingered at the edge of woods, stood motionless near swing sets, or stared from driveways. Their makeup was thick, amateurish, the smiles painted too wide, the eyes hollowed out with black. They rarely did anything but stand. Sometimes they held a balloon. Sometimes a plastic knife. The captions were chilling in their banality. He just watched me unload my groceries. This is the third night. Police say they can't do anything. News anchors with concern-frown graphics called it the killer clown craze, a social media-fueled epidemic sweeping the country. They used words like prank and mass hysteria, but the videos felt heavier than that. They carried a low-grade, psychic malice, a collective itching of a societal scar. In the Oakwood High cafeteria, beneath the fading gaze of a mural depicting Oscar the Owl, our school mascot, we dissected the phenomenon over slices of cardboard pizza and cups of neon red punch. "It's just idiots seeking attention," Jake said, shrugging, still in his football practice gear, smelling of sweat and grass. "It's pathetic. Who's actually afraid of a clown?" "That's why they're unsettling," Chloe countered, not looking up from sketching a sad-eyed clown in the margin of her notebook. "They're a perversion of joy. The smiling face hiding something rotten. Stephen King didn't invent that fear. He just named it. It's archetypal. It's a feedback loop," I offered. "Someone sees a video, copies it for likes. The news covers it, more see it. It won't come here. Oakwood is boring. We're not on that map." But the stain kept spreading. A Snapchat story from Ridgewood, 20 minutes away, showed a clown in a dirty orange wig waving a plastic machete at a deserted bus stop. Then came anonymous threats on obscure forums, all misspelled, all mentioning our county. The school sent a robocall. "We are aware of the national trend regarding inappropriate clown sightings. There is no direct or credible threat to Oakwood High School at this time. Please discuss responsible social media use with your children." Sterile words made the threat feel more real. It had a name now, it had been acknowledged. The Friday before the incident, the air itself changed. The crispness felt less invigorating and more like a held breath. Shadows cast by skeletal trees grew longer, thinner, more possessive. During study hall, Chloe wasn't drawing. She stared at the rain-dampened soccer field, expression unreadable. "It's the laughter," she murmured. "In the videos. It's never happy. It's never real. It hurts on the way out. It's a performance of hysteria." I couldn't stop hearing it in my head after she said it. Tuesday, October 27th, arrived under a sky the color of poured concrete. Third period history with Mrs. Alvarez was a safe dive into the chaos of the French Revolution. Her hands painted the March on Versailles in midair, transporting us. Then, at 10:17 a.m., the PA hissed violently and Mr. Henderson's voice came alive, metallic, stripped of warmth. "Attention all students and staff. We are initiating a lockdown. This is not a drill. Secure your classrooms immediately. Await further instructions." Silence fell. Then, from the back row, a nervous giggle. "Clown drill," someone whispered. A few smirked. Mrs. Alvarez didn't. "Now," she said, voice urgent. "Cameron, Jake, the door. Lock it. Now." Jake and I moved, hands numb with adrenaline. He shoved a desk against the door while I bolted the lock. Chloe yanked the blinds down, plunging the room into striped twilight. "Against the wall. Away from the door and windows," Mrs. Alvarez commanded. We huddled in a corner, pressed against cold cinder block, hearts hammering. The thrill of a drill collided with dawning terror. Then the world outside broke apart. Bang! Heavy impacts. Footsteps. Laughter wheezy, unhinged, scraping nerves raw. "I see you in there." The scream shredded the air. Bang! 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 A blur of violent color pressed against the small window. Not a plastic mask, but skin painted in cracked white foundation, a grotesque red rictus climbing impossibly high into the cheeks. The eyes burned with pure fury. "Come out and play, eh?" Then silence as he vanished, footsteps receding. The fear lingered, alive, visceral. 43 minutes later, an officer arrived. Relief washed over us in waves, shaking, nauseating, almost impossible. The halls were chaos, crying students, shell-shocked teachers, broken glass, dark smears on the floor. The facts emerged, 2 local men in their 20s inspired by the craze. One captured sobbing in a janitor's closet. The other, the Oakwood Smiler, vanished into the woods. No real name. No motive beyond twisted notoriety. Just terror given a title. Part 2, The Aftermath. Oakwood changed. The hairline crack in its foundation became a canyon. Police cruisers idled at school entrances. Attendance plummeted. Sleepovers vanished. Friday night football games were hollow. The fall festival quietly disappeared. Every interaction was shadowed by the unseen. Chloe stopped wearing headphones, filling journals with dense, frantic script. Jake organized neighborhood watch groups, trying to rebuild walls that had been breached. I dreamed of room 214 endlessly. Locks made of butter, transparent doors, laughter from the vents. I'd wake gasping, taste of neon red punch still lingering. Mrs. Alvarez retired the next year. At her farewell, she pulled us aside. You are witnesses now. Not just to history and books, but to fear and how you held together. Remember that. Life moved on. Chloe became a graphic novelist exploring trauma. Jake studied criminal justice. I focused on community trauma response. Oakwood slowly repainted its postcard image, new families unaware of the legend of the Oakwood Smiler. Yet, even years later, when autumn winds rattle bare branches, the memory of that laughter, wheezy, broken, unearthly, still lingers, a shadow at the edge of memory.